One who left you will start chasing you. When someone leaves, it often feels like a deep personal wound. It's natural to question why it happened, what you did wrong, and whether you could have done something differently to prevent it. The initial shock can be overwhelming, leaving you feeling as though your world has crumbled. But as time goes on, something incredible begins to happen. The pain, while still present, starts to fade, and what you're left with is an open space to rebuild, reflect, and grow. The very moment someone walks away is also the moment you begin to grow into someone stronger, someone more aware of their own value and potential. It may take time to see it, but growth often arises from the most challenging situations. When someone leaves, it forces you to confront yourself, to ask difficult questions, and to seek answers not from others, but from within. This introspection, though painful, is a critical part of personal development. The loss of another person can act as a catalyst for change, prompting you to reevaluate your life, your choices, and most importantly, your relationship with yourself. Initially, the emptiness that remains after someone walks away can feel overwhelming. You may experience feelings of sadness, anger, or confusion, and at first it may seem impossible to imagine a life without that person. But as time passes, something remarkable happens. You begin to fill the space they left with new experiences, new insights, and a renewed sense of purpose. You start to see that, even without them, your life can have meaning, value, and direction. You begin to discover parts of yourself that you didn't know existed. You tap into strengths you didn't realize you had, uncovering resilience that perhaps had been dormant for years. You learn how to be content in your own company, realizing that you don't need someone else to validate your worth or define your happiness. It's through this journey of self-reliance that you begin to understand the true power of independence, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. The time spent alone becomes a period of self-discovery. You become more attuned to your desires, your passions, and your goals. The distractions of relationships, of trying to please someone else or meet their expectations, are no longer there. You are left with your own ambitions and dreams, and it's up to you to chase them. And as you do, something profound happens. You start becoming the person you were always meant to be without relying on someone else's presence or approval. In this process, you begin to appreciate the importance of taking care of yourself, not just physically, but emotionally as well. The heartbreak from the person who left you teaches you how to heal, how to move on, and how to love yourself more deeply. Self-care takes on new meaning, and you find yourself investing more in your mental health, your well-being, and your personal growth. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that someone's departure is a sign of personal failure or inadequacy, but as you progress, you come to realize that their decision to leave wasn't about your worth. It was about them, their own journey, and their own choices. Their departure was part of their story, but it doesn't diminish the incredible person you are becoming in your own story. The growth that comes from this experience is something that no one can take away from you. It becomes your strength, your foundation, and your source of pride. As you continue to grow, the initial pain transforms into a quiet confidence. You begin to understand that life's challenges, including the loss of relationships, are often opportunities in disguise. What seemed like a setback is, in fact, the universe's way of nudging you towards something greater. It forces you to turn inward, to build a life that is strong and fulfilling, independent of others. You realize that you don't need external validation to feel whole. You've already got everything you need inside of you. Over time, the loss of that person no longer defines you. Instead, your growth defines you. You become someone who has weathered a storm and emerged stronger, someone who knows their worth and understands the importance of self-love. The wounds may never completely fade, but they heal, leaving behind scars that symbolize your resilience and your ability to rise above adversity. This process of growth is not linear. It may take moments of doubt, times when you wonder if the hurt will ever truly go away. But with each day, you become more certain that the person you were meant to be was always within you, waiting to emerge. And as you continue to grow, you begin to understand that, in many ways, their departure wasn't the end of your story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter, one in which you are the author, and you get to decide how the story unfolds. By embracing this growth, you open the door to new possibilities. You find yourself walking down paths you never considered before, encountering opportunities that were previously hidden from you. Your mindset shifts from one of loss to one of abundance, and you start to see that there is much more to life than the person who left. You learn to love yourself in a way you never thought possible. realizing that your worth isn't tied to the presence or absence of another person. As you continue to grow, the person who left may start to notice the transformation in you, the confidence, the self-assuredness, and the strength. And while that may lead them to reconsider their decision, it's crucial to understand that your growth wasn't for them, it was for you. In the end, the growth that comes from someone leaving you is an opportunity to reclaim your power, to rebuild your life on your own terms, and to create a version of yourself that is unrecognizable from the person who once struggled with their absence. And that, my friend, is the beauty of growth after departure. It's not about waiting for them to come back. It's about realizing that you are enough as you are and that you can thrive without anyone else's presence. Your journey is yours alone. And it's in this journey that you discover your true power. When someone walks out of your life, it's easy to feel as though your worth has been diminished, as though you were somehow not enough. The natural instinct is to internalize their departure, to make it about who you are or what you lack. This is a vulnerable and painful space to occupy, one where feelings of rejection and inadequacy can quickly take hold. But here's the truth that often gets lost in the chaos of emotional pain. Your worth was never tied to that person's presence, nor should it ever have been. The moment someone leaves, it provides an opportunity to reassess how you define your value. It's a painful process, no doubt, but the clarity that can come from this period of loneliness and heartache is invaluable. You are not defined by the actions of others. You are defined by your own beliefs, your actions, and your ability to rise above the things that seek to hold you back. When someone leaves, they may not understand or recognize your worth at that moment, but that doesn't change the fact that your value is inherent, not dependent on external validation. Self-worth is something that grows and evolves over time, but it starts from within. It's not something you need to earn from others. In fact, the true discovery of self-worth often comes from moments of solitude, moments where you are forced to turn inward and ask, who am I without the external influence of others? These moments, though difficult, present the opportunity to see that your value is not defined by someone else's perception or actions. It's defined by the way you carry yourself, the way you treat yourself, and the way you honor your own needs and desires. When a person leaves, you are often faced with a crucial decision. Will you let their departure dictate how you view yourself, or will you rise above it and define yourself on your own terms? This is where the shift happens, the understanding that their absence isn't a reflection of your inadequacy, but a chance for you to step into a version of yourself that has always been waiting to be seen. The more you lean into self-love and self-compassion, the more you come to understand that your worth isn't something that can be taken away. It's something that you can cultivate and nurture on your own. It's easy to get lost in the thoughts of not being good enough, especially when someone leaves. You may begin to replay every moment in the relationship, questioning what went wrong or what you could have done differently. But in reality, no one person, no matter how significant, should be the one to validate your existence. The desire for someone's approval can sometimes cloud our ability to see the full extent of our own value. We chase external validation because it seems like the easiest way to feel secure and loved. But what happens when that external validation disappears? What are we left with? We are left with ourselves. And the truth is, you should never need someone else to make you feel whole, because you were always whole to begin with. In moments of heartbreak and rejection, you may find yourself questioning your abilities, your attractiveness, or your worthiness for love. But what you come to realize over time is that these feelings are temporary. Your worth is not contingent on anyone's love, attention, or approval. It is something that resides within you, deep in your core. No matter how many people come and go, no one has the power to take that away from you. It's an inside job, a truth that you must discover for yourself. As you learn to let go of the need for external validation, you begin to develop a deeper sense of self-worth, one that comes from knowing and accepting who you are, flaws and all. This is where the power of self-acceptance comes into play. You can never truly appreciate your worth until you accept yourself fully, without the need for anyone else's approval or affection. You begin to understand that you are worthy of love, success, and happiness, not because of what others see in you, but because of the inherent goodness and strength you possess within yourself. In this space of self-awareness, you also begin to recognize that your worth is not a fixed thing. It doesn't stay stagnant or dependent on the choices others make. Instead, it grows and evolves. Every challenge you face, every step you take toward healing, every new experience you embrace adds another layer to your sense of self. The more you nurture your growth, the more your value becomes undeniable, not just to others, but to yourself. And as you continue to evolve and grow, something remarkable begins to happen. The very people who once didn't see your worth start to realize what they missed. They begin to notice the person you've become, the strength, the wisdom, the confidence that now emanates from within you. Their departure may have been their loss, but in the process of your healing and growth, you become someone they can no longer overlook. But here's the thing, by the time they notice, you've already discovered your own worth, and you no longer need them to affirm it. Your journey towards self-worth is not about proving yourself to anyone. It's about recognizing that you are enough, just as you are. It's about loving yourself through the difficult times, embracing your imperfections, and learning to stand strong in the face of adversity. When someone leaves, it can feel like a rejection, but it's not a rejection of who you are. It's simply a reflection of where that person is in their own journey, and it's not your job to convince them of your worth. As you heal and move forward, you will start to see that your value never depended on the other person's presence. Their departure is an opportunity for you to step into a new chapter of your life, one where you define yourself by your actions, your character, and your unwavering belief in your own worth. You will no longer seek validation from others because you'll know, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are already worthy of everything good that life has to offer. And when you stand in your worth, you'll become a beacon of strength and self-respect, attracting the people and opportunities that truly align with who you are.